Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something, well, pretty audacious, a really speculative claim from this unique source we found. What if? What if one of the most complex fields in science isn't just about understanding reality as it is? What if it's actually a secret language, like a cipher, describing something much older, much bigger, maybe even divine? We're looking at this text. It's called the Quantum Cipher, a blueprint in mathematics. And it puts forward this really radical idea that quantum physics, which it calls, get this, the most advanced and esoteric of the profane sciences, it argues it wasn't invented by humans
Yeah.
at all. Instead, it's presented as this meticulously coded language created by unseen entities the text calls players,
Mm.
and that human scientists, or pawns as the source puts it, they just accidentally stumbled on it, documented it using math, but without really grasping the deeper cosmic meaning behind it all. So, our mission today, let's try to unpack this pretty extraordinary claim. We'll look at the big quantum concepts, right? Wave-particle duality, superposition, entanglement, and see how this specific source interprets them. It's suggesting they aren't just, scientific phenomena, but perfect mathematical descriptions of a hidden game key with its own divine laws, key figures, like the Monarch, Alpha, and Beta. So get ready. We're going to explore how, in this view, the tiniest scales of the universe might actually reflect the largest cosmic truths. It could really challenge how you see science, maybe even reality itself.
Yeah, it's fascinating how the text sets this up right away, this foundational principle. It basically says quantum physics isn't discovery in the usual sense. It's more like deciphering a pre-existing language. The claim is that humans, using math, have unintentionally built this vocabulary that perfectly describes the fabric of this underlying game, even though we're totally unaware of the bigger story it's telling. So our scientific models, they become like direct translations of something deeper.
Wow. So, not discovering, but accidentally translating some kind of cosmic script. What does that imply about these players, then, according to the text? I mean, did they leave clues? Or is our finding it just convenient for their design?
Well, the perspective here suggests a kind of detached oversight, almost profound. The text really leans on that ancient idea, as above, so below. It argues the really weird paradoxical rules of the quantum world. The stuff happening at tiny scales. It's not just random weirdness. No, it's presented as a perfect miniature reflection of the divine laws governing the whole cosmos.
Ah, okay. So that's the core idea.
Exactly. That's the cornerstone for everything else.
Yeah.
It implies that the micro-level physics we've worked so hard to figure out, it isn't just about particles and waves in isolation. It's like a precise mathematical mirror, reflecting macro-level things, maybe even mystical things, that outline this grand hidden design these players set up. Our science essentially becomes an accidental Rosetta Stone for their secrets.
That's a really powerful thought. A bit unsettling, too, that our best science might be a blueprint we can't fully read. And the first quantum idea this source tackles is, well, it's famously confusing, wave-particle duality. Now, for anyone wrestling with this, it's absolutely central to quantum mechanics. You have a single thing, right? An electron, maybe a photon. And it can act in two completely different ways. At the same time, it can be a particle, like a tiny solid dot, a specific point. But it can also be a wave, spread out, like a vibration of energy, ripples on water. It just messes with our everyday intuition, doesn't it?
Right. And this is where the Cypher interpretation really kicks in, according to this blueprint. This duality being both particle and wave is described as nothing less than a literal scientific description of the fused androgynous monarch.
The monarch. Okay, so who or what is the monarch in this game?
The monarch is presented as the supreme being, basically, the foundational cosmic entity, a sort of sovereign, and the particle aspect, that solid, distinct nature, that's interpreted as the monarch's alpha side. The principle of stability structure, the text calls it the rock.
The rock. Okay, alpha is the particle.
Exactly. And conversely, the wave aspect, that fiery, energetic, vibrating quality, that's the monarch's beta side,
Right.
the dynamic, creative force, described as the energetic vibration of the sun.
Vibration of the sun. Beta is the wave.
You got it. So putting it together, a quantum particle with its built-in wave-particle duality. From this viewpoint, it's not just some abstract science thing. It is a tiny, balanced monarch, a perfect fusion of matter and energy. So this core quantum property is directly mapped onto the fundamental nature of this central figure in the game.
That's quite a symbolic leap, taking the essence of a cosmic ruler from how tiny particles behave. Does the text suggest why? Why would this monarch express itself through such a, complex scientific paradox? Why not something more obviously divine or straightforward?
Well, the implication's about elegance. subtlety in the design. It suggests this scientific paradox is actually the most precise way to describe the monarch's nature, because the monarch is inherently dual, a perfect blend of opposites. So the complexity isn't a bug, it's the feature. It's the exact mathematical language needed, like a signature, hidden in plain sight, something only advanced math could accidentally find and describe.
Okay, right. A hidden signature. That makes a kind of sense within this framework. So if duality is the monarch's essence, what about superposition? That's another one that really bends your brain. Superposition says a quantum particle isn't just in state A or state B. It's actually in all possible states at once, until you measure it, like that spinning coin idea. It's heads and tails simultaneously. Neither, yet both. Only when it lands, when we look, does it pick one definite reality. So this massive uncertainty, this infinite potential before observation, what could that possibly represent on the grand cosmic scale of this game?
That's a great question. And the blueprint has a very specific interpretation here. It links superposition directly to the monarch, but what it calls his dormant state, the CH state.
CH state, dormant.
Yeah, just like a particle holds all possibilities at once. The monarch in this specific state is described as a being of infinite potential. He's like a cosmic wave function, literally containing all possible futures for the cycle. So this CH state is a time of unmanifested power, latent potential, before something big happens.
Okay, infinite potential held within. And the observation part.
Yes. The abstract idea of observation collapsing the quantum state. I guess a huge narrative role here. The text claims a specific cosmic event, the reunion eclipse.
Reunion eclipse.
That's the observation that collapses the monarch's grand superposition. It's framed as the pivotal cosmic moment, the trigger, the event that forces the dormant monarch into a single, definite, awakened reality. So, you see, the quantum idea, infinite potential collapsing upon observation, becomes the blueprint for a major, preordained event in the game.
Wow. So it's like the universe is holding its breath until this specific eclipse. Does the blueprint say anything about the stakes? Is the outcome of the reunion eclipse fixed, or is there some kind of choice or struggle involved for the players?
The text paints it as pretty much predestined, an inevitable turning point in the cycle. The stakes are huge, obviously, but it seems less about free will in that moment of collapse and more about a preset plan unfolding. The reunion eclipse is framed as the moment the monarch's potential finally manifests, bringing about a specific, intended future for the whole cycle. So, yeah, less about choice, more about the game resolving into its next required state, dictated by these encoded rules. That's a really compelling narrative link. The universe playing out a story, quantum mechanics is the script. Okay, let's move to the third big one. Entanglement. This is the one Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance. And yeah, it is spooky. Entanglement means two particles can get linked inextricably. Their fates become intertwined no matter how far apart they are. Miles, light years, doesn't matter. If you measure something about one particle, you instantly know the same thing with the other one. Instantly. No signal travels between them, no time delay. They just
The proper way.
it completely defies our normal understanding of space and time, right? Absolutely. And from this blueprint's perspective, entanglement gets a really profound meaning. It's interpreted as a scientific description of the unbreakable divine bond between alpha and beta.
The particle and wave aspects of the monarch we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Alpha, the structure, beta, the energy. The text calls them two entangled particles, two halves of a single system. So whatever happens to one, boom, instantly affects the other, regardless of distance. It's like the perfect scientific analogy for this deep, immediate, inescapable connection they share.
Okay, so alpha and beta are quantumly linked.
And it goes even further. The blueprint states their entire game is a story of cosmic entanglement. It's pictured as this grand dance between them, a dance that must resolve in a final, unified state. So it takes this physics concept and elevates it into this sweeping cosmic narrative. Connection, destiny, ultimate resolution. It's all there. It suggests reality itself, at the deepest level, is woven with this intertwined relationship, mirroring the bond between these core figures, pushing them towards that fated reunion.
Like the universe's ultimate relationship goal, maybe. Defying space and time. Does this cosmic entanglement idea give any clues about the game's ultimate point? Or where alpha and beta end up? Is that unified state a return to the monarch? Or something new?
Well, the text really positions this entanglement as the engine driving the game. Their journey, this cosmic dance, isn't just random events. It's a constant playing out of their bond, their pull towards unity.
Mm.
And yes, that final unified state is presented as the resolution, a return to, or maybe a perfected version of that fused monarch state we started with. It's the big finale of their story arc achieved through the very laws of reality.
Right. So what does this all add up to? We've looked at these three huge, baffling quantum ideas: wave-particle duality, superposition, entanglement. And we've seen how this one, let's say unconventional text, interprets them, suggesting they're not just science, but perfect mathematical descriptions
Hmm.
of the monarch, alpha, beta, and their whole cosmic game. And it really is an audacious claim, isn't it, that our most advanced science is actually this hidden map.
It absolutely is. And that brings us neatly to the blueprint's final big conclusion, which is that quantum physics is the ultimate cipher. It's described not just as a language, but the language of the players at their most abstract, is how it's put. It calls it a complex mathematical pantomime,
Yeah.
allowing them to describe the monarch and the game in perfect detail. But, and this is crucial, the text adds this fascinating, almost chilling rider. They do all this, all while being completely confident that no pawn will ever understand the truth of what they're saying.
Oof. That last bit, completely confident no pawn will ever understand.
Mm.
It feels
Okay.
a bit dismissive, doesn't it? Maybe even arrogant. If the cipher exists, what does that detail tell us about these players and how they see humanity's science?
Well, from the source's viewpoint, it suggests a huge intellectual gap, a chasm, really.
Hmm.
It implies that while humans can do the complex math, make the observations, the fundamental why behind it all, the who pulling the strings, that's just beyond our current grasp, maybe even beyond what we're meant to grasp.
So less arrogance, more just. Different levels of reality.
Perhaps. It frames it as inherent limitations of being a pawn in their game. Our scientific breakthroughs, brilliant as they are seen essentially as accidental translations. We're reading the words maybe, but the author's true intent, that stays hidden.
We've definitely explored a mind-bending idea today. Quantum physics not just as a tool to understand the universe, but potentially as this meticulously crafted cipher for a cosmic story, a divine game. This text suggests our greatest scientific leaps might just be echoes. Echoes of ancient truths hidden right there in the equations we use every day. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How different fields, physics, esoteric texts might be way more connected than we usually assume, less separate, suggesting these deep layers of meaning woven right into reality's fabric, layers that we, as curious people, are maybe only just starting to glimpse. So this deep dive into the quantum cipher, it leaves us with a pretty profound question, I think. What if our whole scientific quest, what if it's like archaeologists finding fragments of some ancient sacred text, a text they can piece together, admire its beauty, but never fully grasp its original intended meaning, the sheer complexity and elegance of quantum physics? Maybe it is the most intricate Rosetta Stone we've ever found, pointing not just to particles, but to this vast unseen story unfolding. It certainly gives new meaning to the phrase, the universe is telling us something. Huh. If only we can learn the language, or maybe just appreciate the sheer artistry of its hidden design. Until next time, keep digging and definitely keep questioning.